Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. Are you a goofball that loves Giants football? If so, sit back and relax as we talk about the team that both excites and frustrates us so much. And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, to Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by...
Me, Rob, with the third week of not losing.
We're not on the pick show. We're on the recap show, okay?
I know, recapping of the Giants not losing this past week.
Oh, I thought about your third week in a row of winning on the picks here, okay?
Oh, getting a little salty there.
I am. I'm sour like a warhead.
That means Wednesday's going to be a little spicy with some sardines.
Well, I don't know if spicy. Is the fish spicy? I've never even had sardines before, ever, to be honest with you.
I don't know if I've ever had sardines either. It's probably going to be more salty, and you probably want to get them in oil so it's not as fishy.
Yeah, well, I don't care. I'm like one of those people. I don't care about fish tasting fishy, because if you don't like fishy fish, you just don't like fish.
Well,
that's like saying I can't drink black coffee. That means you don't like coffee, you like the creamer.
That's not 100% true, because usually that fishy taste means that fish has been sitting out for too long.
God damn it, I grew up on Jersey bluefish. If I can eat that, I can eat anything.
You're right. You're right. You're not wrong there.
I know we always call them snappers growing up, but they're not actually snappers. That's a completely different fish. But the baby blues, just get them at the end of the street there where I grew up and pop them on a sandwich. Good to go. All right.
You know the perfect recipe for that, right?
We used to bread them up and fry them.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you get the whole sheet of tinfoil out, lace it up with olive oil, a little pepper, a little garlic, a little onion, put the fish over, slather it with some nice seasoning, little Old Bay, roll it up, put it on the grill, let it sit for about 4 minutes one side, flip it over, 3 minutes on the other side, throw away the fish and eat the foil.
Oh my.
Anyone
Listen,
from this area knows joke.
I like bluefish. I grew up on it, so it's okay. All right. So we got a lot of news here to go over with you guys here today. So not only is there a lot of Giants news, there's a lot of NFL news. We got the recap episode as well we're doing here. So we're going to give you guys the recap, but we are going to go ahead and do a little more of a condensed version than what we usually do. Again, like we did, I think, was it last week or the week before that? Because there's so much news to go over that, again, you guys don't want a 3-hour episode. We know this. You barely want to go the hour.
This is the second to last week without buys. We got 2 teams on buys next week.
Bye.
There's a lot of NFL news. Like we might have to do this forward. We might have to do this more forward. Like I'm saying.
Yeah. We'll see. Listen, we in the beginning of the season we did it no problem. It's just when news happens. We'd rather give you guys the news and statistics on what a quarterback threw for in the game. It's more prevalent. It's something you might not be able to look up quite as easy if you're not unaware of it. So that to me is more important. All right. First up, let's go over some Giants news. So interesting thing happened Thursday. So Amani Toomer was on the Michael Kay show, and he was talking about the potential reasons for the struggles and decline this season of Daniel Jones, and kind of suggested that the lack of stats had gotten to him, so to speak. He kind of felt the pressure of this contract and felt the need to put stats up, which kind of changes the way he played. So not exactly a ridiculous assessment, I would say. I mean,
no.
But what I thought was very interesting in the whole thing, he said it wasn't the first time he's seen a quarterback infatuated with stats. Told a story about how one of his former teammates wouldn't throw it deep at the end of halves in games. He said, quote, "I have played with a quarterback who wouldn't throw Hail Marys at the end of a half because he was concerned about his overall QB rating if the Hail Mary would be intercepted," Toomer said via NJ Advanced Media. "I'm not going to name any names. I'm just going to say he's in the Hall of Fame right now." Well, it doesn't take a genius, folks, to see who that is, because Toomer only played with one quarterback who is currently in the Hall of Fame. He's going to have a second one soon with Eli when he gets in, probably.
Yeah.
Or else we go burn the place down otherwise. But that's Mr. Kurt Warner. Kurt Warner is the only current Hall of Fame quarterback that he played with. So interesting little thing there that I never thought of. I mean, how many times you see interceptions? I don't know. I never worried about that kind of stuff personally.
I mean, it makes sense. There's definitely guys that want to protect their reputation of being a more completion rated, QB with a higher, obviously pass rated, but like interceptions is the Achilles heel to the quarterback, unless it's a pick six, and that's the absolute worst. But like, obviously, like you want touchdowns, you want completions, you want a high completion ratio. So if you're throwing a Hail Mary, there's an opportunity where you're possibly not getting completion.
It makes you wonder, though. Part of it with him was the year he played with them. If you remember, Kurt Warner was on a 1-year deal with the Giants. He knew he was a 1-year gap as we kind of got Eli into the flow of things there. So you wonder if he was kind of more concerned with where he would go next, as opposed to, what would happen to him in the long term. Because like I remember the year before, we played the Rams in 2003. It was the home opener, actually, the opening weekend of the NFL season. I'm looking it up just to verify my memory correct. And Kurt Warner looked horrible in that game. Giants won 23-13. Remember going and watching this game going, what the hell happened to Kurt Warner? He just had a horrible season overall. And he was kind of thought like, okay, he's coming back down to earth and he's not going to be who he was anymore, But yeah, I mean, he's came back obviously with the Cardinals, had a good second half of his career there, but that's where he was at that point.
Yeah.
So, like I said, different time, and I wonder if that's part of what it was with Kurt Warner specifically there. All right, next up, the Giants signed a wide receiver, one I don't expect to see much of.
No.
So I think that you're not going to see this guy very much, but it's Dylan Drummond, who was with the Lions. The Lions had him on the active roster, tried to get him to drop onto their practice squad. Keep in mind, you hear the stories about Tommy DeVito and how he had the option to go to other teams' practice squads when the Giants went to dump him onto theirs. Same kind of situation happened, except in this case here, he took the other offer. So the Giants have put him on our practice squad. He's a 23-year-old rookie free agent out of Eastern Michigan that hadn't appeared in a game for the Lions since the 8th of October. So it's been about 2 months since he's seen an NFL field, and he doesn't have a single catch on the year. They thought he showed something in the preseason. I looked up his stats, which are a little difficult to find, but I was able to find them. On the entire preseason, he had 9 catches, 87 yards. So I don't know if it was just, good timing, those catches, because it's not exactly blowing it out of the water there at that point. 3 games, that's less than 30 yards a game. Or if he had one good game, and I look for the breakdown like that. As Rob's on mute trying to talk again.
Again, that was the first time on this show. Anyway, yes.
On this show, before the show, you were trying to talk, and you couldn't.
I wasn't on mute. I just didn't have my microphone set up. Anyway, there's a big
plug is the important part. The plug is the important part.
Yeah, so we picked up Oshane Ximines, who also kind of like, if you would have looked at that name when we picked up Ximines, you'd be like, who? Practice squad? Hasn't seen much? Oh, yeah. But at this point in this season, we are mathematically still in the playoff potential.
Oh, God. We're not going there, are we?
No, we're not going there. Because what my main point is you can still paint rust any color you want to paint rust, it's still rust. And it's time to accept the facts that, like, okay, maybe we do go on a run. Maybe we can make the playoffs. What are we going to do? Wild card it out? Like, not saying we should sandbag, but I'm just saying, like, what are you trying to fix this year that's going to fix us for the future?
I'm just kind of curious what it is with the Giants and their infatuation with undrafted rookie free agent wide receivers from the Lions. After this, and Khalil Pimpleton last year, like, who also didn't show anything and never got a chance to get in when we had no receivers and no demand, basically. Again, I just think he just takes up a spot. The biggest news, I think, in this whole thing is whose spot he took. Oshane Ximines is officially no longer a New York Football Giant. The guy's been around for 5 years, probably about 4 more years than he should have been around. And actually, I'll give him 3 more years. He had a decent rookie year, just went downhill from there. So, yeah, I guess that ends his time there, unless we all of a sudden pick him back up because of other moves we're making here, because Tyrod Taylor is now eligible to return, and the Giants have opened up his practice window. Interesting to note that no official name has been given as a starter for the Monday Night Football game here against the Packers. So that's kind of the talk of the town right now. Is it Tommy DeVito? Is it Tyrod Taylor? I know I'm rooting for Tommy DeVito because Tyrod Taylor is not any way, shape, or form in the Giants' future. Let DeVito get a little better and see if he's going to be a good backup for us in the long term.
Yeah, I mean, especially playing against a Green Bay team that's really turned themselves around.
Yeah.
Really past big 5 weeks. So yeah.
So it does look like I think Tyrod Taylor will be active because just a few minutes ago I saw that Matt Barkley was waived from the 53-man roster and Jacob Eason was released from the practice squad. So when we're dropping quarterbacks, that tells me chances are, and I would not be shocked at all if Matt Barkley is picked up, by the way, onto the practice squad and takes Jacob Eason's spot.
Yeah, that I was about to say, because you got Tyrod Taylor coming off this rib injury, or what it is. You can start DeVito, you can start Tyrod. It's a flip of a coin. Listen, I have had 3 chicken parms this past month for this kid. I've not had 3 chicken parms in the past 5 years.
There is this place here in St. Pete called Mazzaro's, and it is the only place that I will call Italian food with the entire Tampa Bay area that I've been to so far. They make a really good chicken parm. Oof. They also make a really good meatball sub, by the way. Oof.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's all in the sauce.
It really is. And it's most people here just don't season the sauce correctly is what it boils down to. Mm. All right. Anyway, before I get more hungry, when I just ate dinner, I'm not hungry at all. Ironically enough, with Italian food. So on the draft front here, the Giants have dropped to the 6th pick in their bye week thanks to the Commanders losing. The Commanders have not had their bye week yet, so they are now 4-9, while about 4 or 5 teams, including the Giants, are sitting at 4-8. One site, Tankathon, which is one of the ones a lot of people look at there for the draft standings, actually has us listed at 7, which I thought was interesting, because everybody else has us listed at 6. Keep in mind the tiebreaker is the opponent's combined winning percentage. The Giants are currently sitting at 0.517 in that category, so pretty high. This is where having that really tough schedule comes to bite us in the ass.
Touche. Yeah.
I
mean, I've seen people do this and that, but we also got to look into the schedule of the rest of everyone else and look at how this NFL has turned around. That's the 4th time I said this NFL in the past 2 podcasts.
I know. What's up with this NFL?
I don't know.
As opposed to that NFL.
Yeah. Because this is the one we're talking about.
This is the NFL.
I'm just saying, you got the Packers, and I'm not going to go in a long tangent because we got a lot to cover. But
I know better.
You got the Packers. You got
grab a seat, everybody. Get a drink. Pull up a snack.
There is a lot of teams that could still make the playoffs in wild card spots. There's still a lot of teams that could get better draft picks that are right outside that spot. But those two teams can flip. And that's probably at least 10 to a dozen teams that could flip around to a top 10 like draft pick to bake in the playoffs.
I was looking up out of curiosity where I think worst case scenario for us is going to be. And I'm looking at it and I'm going, okay, well, we still got the Saints, the Bucks, the Raiders, and the
Eagles twice.
Chargers at 5 and no, I'm saying this is what I'm saying. The Saints, the Bucks, the Raiders, and the Chargers at 5 and 7. So only one game difference. Now, all of them except the Chargers have a worse and a lower strength of schedule there. So that puts us at number 11, hypothetically, if those teams leapfrogged us. But then you look at like the Bengals are 5 and 6, probably going to be 5 and 7 as well. They have a better strength of schedule though than us as well, so that does help as far as that. But yeah, I think we could easily be borderline mid first round pick there, depending on how many wins we pile up. Luckily, like I said, we played the Eagles twice, so we'll probably lose both those games. That'll help. But if we pull out wins against the Saints, the Rams. All right. We'll see what's going to happen because that puts us at like 6 and 11 at that point there.
Loss. Rams, I think, are a sneaky good team.
Saints, Packers. Yeah, we'll get into what they did this week, but they definitely freaking roughed it up again this week.
We'll have 1 or 2 wins, and we'll talk about the Packers once we get to the Packers game. But yeah, they've
that's where I still have us on pace for 1 or 2.
Yep.
All right.
On to the next news.
Now, as far as coaching news, we got a lot of coaching news here. So, Giants running back coach Jeff Nixon, no relation to Richard, is rumored to be targeted by Syracuse's new head coach, Fran Brown, not the nanny from Flushing, Queens, just for the record. It's a different Fran. Mr. Sheffield. Everybody like under like the age of like 35 was like, what the hell are they talking about?
I barely recall that show.
It was actually a decent show. It was a decent show, actually. So, but yeah, he's rumored to be targeted as their new offensive coordinator there in Syracuse, which obviously is a step up for him, meaning we would lose our running back coach going forward. In other news, though, with the coaching staff, Ryan Dunleavy of the New York Post said on the Sports Nation show that he expects all 3 coordinators to move on after the season. So I'll take what he says as some validity there because he actually covers the team on a regular basis. So he does know what he's talking about with the team. He's got the inside knowledge. You got the sources. I'm still hoping for Wink.
That's interesting because, all 3 head coaches move on. So 2 get fired, 1 gets a head coaching job.
Well, no. I don't think that's what he's expecting. He's just expecting us to cut them all 3 loose, and whatever happens to them happens to them. That's basically what he's saying. Now, last night, Twitter went a little crazy because John Middlecoff, who I will freely admit that I've never heard of this guy before last night, released a video on the Volume Sports saying he hears that the entire coaching staff can't stand Dable and that the defensive coaching staff specifically despises him due to his yelling and cursing. He put it as being MF'd. The defensive staff especially feels it's unwarranted considering the offense is clearly the more problematic side of the football. That one I'm less concerned with because, again, I've never even heard of this guy. And
no,
I look at his rest of his videos, and again, I don't pretend to be an expert on this guy's work. He's got a lot of followers, so I give him credit for that. But watching some of the other short videos he did, they're all kind of like shock jock intended to tick someone off kind of scenario. But yeah, it just doesn't seem right. I don't know.
Yeah, no,
just tells me
listen,
this
I
is a
mean,
guy for clickbait kind of more than anything else. But people were flipping about it last night.
listen. Look at Dable and Wink together. They definitely belong. They look like they belong in Jacksonville.
Especially
And you're telling me,
Wink with that mullet.
and you're telling me those guys don't say MFer at all, and you're going to get mad. And you're going to get mad at one to the other.
I don't think it's the words as much as the way the words are being given. You know what I mean? Like, Wink's a grown man. He's been in this league for a while. He's also a very calm and collective person overall for the most part. You don't see him flipping out like Dable does. You know, on the other side of that, Dable keeps things in house. Wink literally wears his heart on his sleeve and tells, like, say for example, the Xavier McKinney stuff. Those comments were all Wink.
Yeah,
they're different personalities, but I do think that in the end, those two guys can make it work because I think they realize they help each other out. They're good for each other. You know, Wink can go somewhere else and be a defensive coordinator, probably no problem. But he's not nearly as highly touted as he was coming out of the Ravens a couple years ago. I'm not so sure that getting him, this offseason gets him into a head coaching job, which is what he wants either. So, like I said, I just think that personally, his best bet is to stay behind, stay with the Giants at least one more year. Hope they can work it out. Hopefully they can get the offense rolling, which is going to help the defense. And then he looks, set for a head coaching job the following offseason.
Yeah.
So, but we shall see. We shall see.
Well, tell.
Egos and emotions tend to change people's thinking at times, and we all do it. So, that's the variable in this. All right, on to some NFL news. We got some NFL news to go over too.
Finally.
Oh, yes. Shaq Leonard, former Pro Bowler, All-Pro, All-World linebacker, has officially signed today with the Philadelphia Eagles after previously being cut there from the Colts last week. That was kind of the rumored preferred location all along. I know he had visited with the Cowboys earlier as well before even visiting with the Eagles, but that was kind of the rumored spot all along. Let's be honest, the guy is chasing a ring. He's had a ton of injuries. Let's also be honest and say that the Colts wouldn't have cut him if he's still the player he was. Though I will still say 80% of Shaq Leonard is still better than 100% of most players in this league.
That's a fair statement.
Yeah. So, but we'll have to see what he's
I disagree, good sir. 78% of Shaq Williams. No.
I mean, it's honest truth. If you're an all-pro caliber player and you're down to 80%, you're still in the realm of very good.
Yes. Like there's still at
again,
least 50% of the players out there that it's going to be way worse.
Exactly. Especially to get him late in the season when the Colts are already paying him, and it's probably a minimal deal. I haven't heard any numbers out there yet, but it's a good pickup for them overall. I hate to say it because I hate the Eagles, obviously, but it's a good pickup for them. Speaking of Eagles news here, Zach Ertz, the former Eagle tight end, former Cardinal tight end, has been granted his release from the Cardinals and is rumored to be interested in playing for a contender. And he officially ruled out the Dallas Cowboys as a spot, which makes a lot of sense. I mean, obviously, if you want to go ahead and, be a Super Bowl winner, the Dallas Cowboys are not where you want to go. People can hate me for saying it, but haven't won one forever. So, obviously, the Eagles' connection and the fact that Dallas Goedert has an injury makes the Eagles the betting favorite as his next destination once again. So the rich keep getting richer. They get Shaq Leonard and Zach Ertz potentially within a week of each other.
I mean, mean, there's possibilities you can go out to other teams. I mean, Atlanta. Atlanta right now is
Atlanta's not a contender.
Atlanta's in the 4th place in the seeding right now for the playoffs.
Yeah, not a contender.
If
you want to go legit, the contenders on the NFC specifically are the Niners, the Eagles, the Dallas Cowboys, and the Detroit Lions. I will also throw in there.
Yes.
That's your people. That's your people you got there overall.
And I've been a Lions fan. Lions fan this season. What Dan Campbell did over there, but
yeah. Now, if you want to go AFC playoff, picture at that point and see who you got going in there. You got obviously the Chiefs are a legit team, though.
They're looking like a double tight end, 4th seed.
Imagine the double tight end set there with Travis Kelce and Zach Ertz. That wouldn't be the worst thing
for them because they don't have they don't have a great receiver core out there.
Oh yeah. You got the Dolphins, you got the Ravens, who keep in mind lost Mark Andrews to injury, so he could be a replacement for Mark Andrews. That's an interesting spot. The Jacksonville Jaguars.
Ingram over there.
There's spots. There's spots there, guys. But I just, to me, it makes too much sense for him to go back to Philly. That's what I think.
Yeah,
I think it's Motown Philly back again.
Yeah,
yes, I went there. Little Boys to Men. Not too hard, not too soft. Boys to Men. Boys to Men. We got a little Commanders news here. Commanders defensive tackle Jonathan Allen, who of course just signed a $90 million deal this offseason, was asked if he ever thought about playing for another team by 106.7 The Fan. Why is every goddamn city have a radio station called The Fan?
The Fan. And they say it just hey, The Fan. Ah.
It's a wacky weekday show on The Fan. It's like every single goddamn city has The Fan. It's like, get some damn originality. Like if I was to open up a radio station, what do you want to call it? Not The Fan. Anything but The Fan.
The Fanatics.
Yes, there we go. I'm The Fanatics. Yeah.
Which is what the Fan's short for.
When asked about if he ever thought of playing for the team that are on The Fan, he said 1,000%. I'd be lying if I said I didn't. I played this game to win, and I would love to win here for sure, but I want to win first and foremost. And I can't help but wonder if this is a guy that they might try to figure out how to get rid of at the end of the, because this is not the first time he's made those kind of comments, which is weird to me because why the hell did you sign the deal then?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You had $90 million to sign the deal. Shut up. Shutty up in your face, as Tommy DeVito would say, okay? You took $90 million deal.
You know how many chicken cutlets I could get with that?
Exactly. That's insane money. Take it, be happy, enjoy the generational wealth you just gave your family, and move on. There's a certain bit, and like I said, I'm not knocking the fact that he got the money, don't get me wrong. What I'm saying, though, is once you accepted that money from a shitty franchise, you made your bed, now lying.
Yep.
Exactly. You made that decision.
You were either counting on the Commanders to come out and play great football.
But it's also like you were hedging your bet and protecting yourself against any kind of career injury or something like that. That's why you take a deal like that. You took your chances. So now you got healthy. So now you're going to go, well, I want to lead this team now. Shut up. It's just, I just hate that kind of stuff. Be all in on the team you're in, goddammit, or don't sign the damn deal. That's like Albert Hainsworth kind of bullshit. I mean, obviously he's playing, he's not giving up, but you know what I mean, though. It's just like, I don't know. I don't like it. If one of the Giants had said that, I said cut his ass.
Yep.
Or trade his ass. Because Jonathan Allen is definitely worth something. It's worth a couple picks.
100%. By the way, anyone that's listening live, the Jaguars just went up. E2N touchdown. Just saying.
So 7-0 now.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's an
All
open and drive. What do you want?
I'm
You think
sorry.
it's
I'm
gonna be
focusing on the
17,
live show
15?
we're doing here, Rob.
I'm focused on everything for everyone out there that's listening.
All righty. Before we get started on the games, let's go through some of the comments here today, and we'll pay the bills, and then we'll get into the games themselves there. So Connor says, foil tastes good. Maybe we'll do that for one of our pick'em losses. Whoever loses has to eat foil.
That's what I lose.
Connor says, X-Man gone. He's an X-Giant now, LOL. Good luck, X. Yeah, good luck. I mean, listen, I got no beef with him. I just don't think he was that good of a player. Connor says, stick with veal cutlets. Tyrod's had his time. Exactly, and he's not part of the future. And he says, in search of this NFL, narrated by the great and dead Leonard Nimoy. I somehow don't think Leonard Nimoy is going to be narrating. You know what? You never know with the AI stuff nowadays. You never do. I would not put it past. Like, let's say if I was like the family, which obviously I'm not, but let's say I was the family of Morgan Freeman. I'd be like, listen, Morgan, I want you to stand here and say every single word in the dictionary.
Bruce Willis already accepted a contractual deal where AI can use his likeness for future commercials and whatnot to set up for his family. So you're going to have
Die Hard 6 from Beyond.
I don't know if they're going to do movies. I think it's commercials. So you're going to hear Capital One. What's in your wallet? Yippee-ki-yay, mother Capital One.
Oh, God. I hope not. That'd be kind of sad because, I mean, unfortunately, he will be passing probably soon from everything you see in the family. So, you know, it's definitely not. That would not. No, I wouldn't like that. I wouldn't. That no.
But he. Before,
I know that because he's trying to set up his family. Let's be honest. He's
yeah.
Bruce Willis. Okay, first off, anybody who knows, and obviously, we're Jersey boys ourselves. Bruce Willis is a Jersey boy, by all accounts.
And he was a Hudson Hawk.
By all accounts, he was a Hudson Hawk.
You never saw the movie?
No, he was a Montclair Red Hawk.
Hudson Hawk. This is a movie he did in like 92, 93.
Oh, I don't keep.
Where he was a catbird. It was one of my favorite movies of Bruce Willis. It was so cheesy. It was great.
I didn't know you had a top 10, but okay. Anyway, what I'm getting at is anybody who knows
Die Hard, Hudson Hawk.
Well, definitely not Die Hard number 5. Is definitely not anywhere on that list. But yeah, I mean, anybody who knows anything about him knows that Bruce Willis, by all accounts, is basically an utter asshole. But I always saw him as a guy who loved his family. So he's just trying to set up his family. That's what it boils down to. I think he's one of those people, he just had a selective circle. If you weren't in that circle, he just didn't give a shit about you.
It's a Jersey thing.
He got booted from college, my understanding, even for being a jerk. I'm sure more of the story was like, you're a jerk, you're gone. I mean, obviously, but he was booted from Montclair when he was going there. Good old Montclair University right next to Giant Stadium. So, all right. Let's get into the rest of the comments here. So Connor says, have we fired our O-line coach yet? No, we haven't. I don't know why. I really don't know why, except lack of other options to coach the team the rest of the year. Deb says Dakota is kind of quiet tonight. Yeah, I wonder why.
Can you put up Dakota's comment? Oh, it's not there.
Yeah, no.
Nope. Deb, I think you're onto something.
In all fairness, he's not on every episode with us.
He's not.
So, but
he's gonna be listening to tomorrow on his drive-in. Like these goofballs.
Goofballs. All right, let's pay the bills real quick, and we'll get into our recap here. Oh yes. Rob's already leaving us. We haven't started the video yet. He's already leaving.
Enjoying the show? Looking for more goofball action? Consider a membership at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Memberships start at just $5 and give you additional goofball access. One-time support payments also available starting at just $3. buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs.
Oh yes, and Rob's still gone. Where'd he go? Have you seen the Roberto? All right, we're gonna get into the games without him here. He probably went to the potty break or something. All right, so first up, obviously, we have Thursday night's game, which was the Seattle Seahawks at the Dallas Cowboys. There, Cowboys crushed them in the end. The Seahawks made it a little closer later on in the day, which makes the score a little closer than it actually was, 41-35. Cowboys' first win against a team with a winning record. The ironic part is the loss made the Seahawks go down to a 500 record. So technically, they still have not beaten a team with an above 500 record currently. That's kind of sad. So, okay, we have to stop talking about him now. He's back from his poop.
Oh, crud.
Rob was doing a number 2.
Who does number 2 work for?
So I already gave them the Seahawks. I already gave the Seahawks and Cowboys. You're next up with the Chargers and the Patriots.
Oh, the most exciting game of the week.
Oh, offensive juggernauts.
Oh my God. You got the mighty Chargers going into the Patriots going to Foxborough. Oh my God. Chargers win with a whopping 6 points, 2 field goals, 2-0. They shut out the Patriots.
Oy.
What? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was such a sad win. It doesn't. I almost want to fire the Staley even more than I did before he came into this game. Like
I'm telling
Bill
you,
Belichick,
crappy coach, and I don't understand how he's still in the league. I still don't get it. He's not good.
I've the past month I've had this little like sneaky thing, thought in the back of my head that I brought up Bill Belichick how many times? He's probably not going to become Patriot, and like it's kind of like a respect thing. Staley's going to get fired at the end of this year, and I feel like Bill Belichick,
that's the guy for the job,
is going to go over.
Just swap sidelines real quick.
Yep, and just think about what he can do with that talent on that team, because they should be right up there in the conversation with at least 8 wins.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah. But they're saying now, that Jonathan Jones of CBS Sports said that both head coach Brandon Staley and GM Tom Telesco their jobs are safe through the season. They will not make a mid-season change. So should be interesting to see what they do the off season. I guess that means they're hoping they give them reason to keep them. Hoping?
Yeah. Oh, can you win in the next 5 weeks? To do
well,
what?
It's like, well, here's why I think they're saying that.
Dude.
Let's say hypothetically the Chargers go nuts because they do have a lot of talent, and all of a sudden win the next 5 games and end up 10-7. It's hard to fire the guy then.
You're right, but we're not going to break it down today because we're already 40 minutes into the episode.
Break it down.
But
Generation X.
I'll probably bring it up Wednesday when we talk about the remainder of the schedule and like different potentials. Listen, YouTube algorithm is amazing because somehow out of nowhere, all the Attitude Era shorts have been coming up when I'm watching Rock and Stone Cold go back and forth each other with DX and the Nation of Domination.
I'm telling you, like we talked about the other night, I haven't watched wrestling in probably 30 years. It feels like, but yet still like all the stuff from like my childhood just pops up all over YouTube and TikTok and that kind of stuff. They know I must have liked it somehow when I was younger. Or they made that assumption because most guys when they were younger watched that stuff.
I had a Nintendo 64 and a PlayStation, and I had Attitude Era for both.
We all know that the only game for Nintendo 64 is GoldenEye.
That's not true at all. Did you not play Mario Kart? Did you not play Mario? Jeez.
Anyway, on to the next game here. Lions at the Saints here. Lions win 33-28. The Lions were up 21-0 with 8 minutes left in the first quarter. That's how strong they started off there.
That's the first time that a team's gone up 21-0 in 7 minutes in 1968 since the Minnesota Vikings did it back in 68. This is the best start.
Summer of 69.
I'm sorry,
Wow,
86. 86. Dyslexia hit me right there. 68.
That's a big difference. This is not nearly as like, okay.
Well, 62 is the last time that this is how good the Lions have started. Going into this.
I know. Yes. But yeah, so Saints did nearly come back, but Lions managed to hold on. Derek Carr also was announced after the game was put into the concussion protocol. So all these crazy injuries that he's had, and he's managed to play every single game, at least to start. This might end that streak next week. So something to keep an eye on, because if I remember correctly, and I can look up the schedule to verify, but I believe not this week, obviously, but the following week, guess who comes into town? The G-Men, I believe. So that might be Jameis Winston we're facing instead of Derek Carr, depending on how. So, like I said, something to keep an eye on there, because Jameis Winston is who I would prefer to play. Yet the 17th, we go into St. Louis, New Orleans. We go to St. Louis and play nobody. No, the 17th we play New Orleans. So, yeah. So, like I said, something to keep an eye on there. Almost makes you wonder. I did go to the game after all. I was talking about going to that game, and now we're not.
Yeah, we were talking about that offline. I mean, listen, you got Winston, who thinks he's a pilot because he just throws everything through the air. But the reason why he's not a pilot, because he doesn't care where it lands. He just goes.
Yeah, he just hopes his guy is the one who comes down with it, and sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. All right, next up, another exciting game you have.
Yeah, I was about to say, you gave me all the great games. You get the Falcons going in.
You're popping on him.
Damn it!
Hip hop
the Falcons, the division winner of the NFC South right now.
Well, the division leader, not the winner. Yeah, we'll find out.
Oh, they're going to win after this game.
We'll see.
Because they go to MetLife, they play the
Jameis
Jets.
Winston could propel the Saints into the championship.
Technically, none of those teams. Oh, actually, no. I'm sorry. The Panthers, after this week, are technically out of contest of making the playoffs.
Way to be the spoiler for later on.
Ooh, I went there. Anyway,
Falcons
13, Jets 8. Jets are officially eliminated from the playoffs. Aaron Rodgers should and will not attempt to come back this season, because, my God, why even chance it? Tim Boyle.
Well, it made sense if they were still in, because let's be very frank, if they even a halfway decent quarterback, this is a damn good team.
You're right, but with 5 games left and the way the division,
now that it's over,
looks,
there's no,
even if with 1 game hope where you had to win every game outright, every blind squirrel finds a nut. But
I'm telling you right now, if there was even a small chance Aaron Rodgers would want to come back, and it's not because he wants to do the right thing, it's not because Aaron Rodgers cares about his teammates, the city he plays for, blah 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 blah. He cares about his ego and how he looks, and that would put him into New York lore for the rest of his life.
You're right, but also you have him signed to a contract for next year. Why would you have the 39, almost 4-year-old come back the fastest from any Achilles tendon tear in NFL history?
I'm not saying it makes sense, but I'm just saying the reason he wanted to do it is that. Has nothing to do with anything else but that. It's my own personal opinion.
That's when the GM, the head coach, and the owner says, "Hey, Aaron, wait the next year. We got a ring then."
Well, we'll see.
But yes, Tim Boyle was benching the game for Ximines.
Simeon.
Awesome. Simeon. What'd you call him? Homeless Simeon?
We didn't put in our linebacker.
Yeah. Who also looked like trash. Sorry, Simeon.
Trash.
Defender of the Jets. The Jets.
I figured a Flash Gordon thing was appropriate since Flash Gordon was a Jet.
QB for the Jets.
He was. As we're talking about Jets QBs, why not do a little Flash Gordon?
Perfect.
Isn't it kind of sad the second best quarterback they ever had was a fictional character? It's kind of like Flash Gordon is kind of like their Rocky.
That's perfect. Joe Namath, Flash Gordon,
Vinny Testaverde,
Brett Favre.
Brett Favre doesn't count. He played 1 year.
He did more for that team than. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, Zach Wilson is possible to start again, but he said he was reluctant to take back the job, according to a report by Zach Rosenblatt.
You're gonna have fun with names tonight. Zach Rosenblatt and Diana Rossini of the Athletic. There you go. I wasn't sure if the was going to be a problem.
The Athletic.
The University of. But yeah, I thought that's kind of interesting. Like, Zach Wilson's reluctant to take the job back, and it makes you wonder: are the Jets and him just doomed for a divorce this offseason? Like, is Zach Wilson done? Does he just sit there and say, "I need to change a pace"? Like, I have nothing to gain by playing any more games for the Jets. Like, is that where he's at?
I think it's more of.
Is he tired from perhaps a late night visit at Buenos Aires and Red Bank?
It could be. I thought I saw some young kid over there wearing green. I mean, listen, they're out of playoff potential. If you want a future in the NFL, why are you going to take the chance to get banged up and get like a season or career?
It's not even that. It's a matter of playing. I'm telling you right now, I would look worse on him for not playing than I would for playing poorly.
I mean, I agree, but listen, he may have his mom's friend in his ear just saying, think about
she's nibbling on
future. Yeah. No.
Real quick, also, I got to say, Connor, I just saw your comment pop up. We'll get to it obviously later, but I find it funny. We talked about that like 20 minutes ago. Were you Googling the entire time? I like how he's determined to get the answer for us. Like, is this happening? Alrighty. We got next game up here. We talked enough about the Jets and their pitifulness. Another great offensive showing here with the Cardinals at the Steelers. Cardinals won 24-10 in a game that got rained in, rained out. It was like ridiculous weather. It's not often you see a football game being, paused for weather, but I think that happened like 2-3 times in this game now. Yeah. The interesting thing is now the Cardinals are now 2-2 since Kyler Murray returned. And obviously because of this, may end up losing out on one of the coveted top 2 picks that they were clearly in the driver's seat for. So, kudos to them on winning and helping us to potentially not have one more team in front of us.
And they also probably knocked themselves out of a chance to get in Harrison Jr. I'm sure Kyler Murray's happy about that.
If that's who they wanted. I mean, I don't know who they wanted because I think they might have gone a quarterback for all we know. I mean, who knows?
Keep in mind, especially
the
way he's playing.
Coaching staff did not draft him.
You're right. But the way he's playing, kind of respected, you put a generational receiver around him.
I don't know. Like a DeAndre Hopkins? I wonder how that work.
Who is also coming off an injury, got suspended because he was on PEDs.
I'm just saying.
Back. But I'm just saying, you take a guy that's 100% healthy coming out of college is a little different from a guy that hasn't really played the past couple of years because of injury. Because how well is he playing down in Tennessee right now?
Here's the interesting thing. If Marvin Harrison Jr. plays for the Arizona Cardinals, do you see a luxury box with Marvin Harrison and Edgerrin James as he used to play for the Cardinals?
Ooh,
yes, indeed. Interesting.
Oh, my.
Yeah,
and then you also got, was it Johnson the receiver that did a nice little dance after being down 21-3, getting his touchdown.
Nice.
Yeah, fantastic.
Classy. Stay classy, San Diego.
Anyway,
all right.
up next
Next up,
you
you have a
Colts,
game with actual offense.
which surprised probably quite a few people because the mustache took care of the business here. You got the Colts going into Tennessee playing them Titans. And my, what a game.
That's a good game. That was a really good game.
And playoff potentials here. Multiple punts were blocked by the Colts. Should be something to be talked about as well because what's his face almost broke his leg off that second punt. Like it was terrible.
Are you talking about Ryan Stonehouse, the punter who was injured?
Yep. What's his face?
Well, he says, "What's his face?" Meanwhile, he got notes right in front of him with the guy's name, but whatever.
What's it like? I was reading every single line down there.
If only there was notes.
Yeah.
We should be more professional. Have show notes or something.
Something like that. Well, Stonehouse also missed an extra point.
Hold on. No, he did not. That is giving false information. Stonehouse. Okay. Stonehouse was the holder. Is the holder.
Yes.
Because he was injured, Ryan Tannehill had to be the holder. So the Titans missed the extra point that would have put them up by 1 point in the game on the final scoring drive of regulation. So if it wasn't for that missed extra point, the game would have been over.
You're right. And Tannehill, because if you think about it, how many times do you think he's taken the holder position this past week for this game? I don't think he took any of it because as soon as he got up, he went
backup quarterback. Wasn't the backup quarterback for most of the season? I mean,
he turned around and got up and went, "My bad to Falk."
I wonder if they'd have been better off putting Will Levis in there. Did he take more snaps in the season as the backup holder? Or was he even the backup holder early in the year? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't even think your average Titans fan is going to know the answer to that question. To be very frank with you,
it comes down to their special teams. But you obviously saw like Tannehill, not to get it sidetracked to special teams, but like
we never get sidetracked.
Laces out. He did a pretty good job. Wasn't 100% out. He had laces out. He was
laces out. Laces out, Marino.
Laces out, Tannehill. His thing was he didn't put that slant.
He was the Dolphins quarterback.
He didn't put that slant on that ball. You're right. And as soon as he got up and he realized what he did to Falk, he's like, "Sorry, dude."
They were also kind of saying too in the broadcast, and again, I'm not a Titans fan, obviously, so I don't watch the Titans, holding that often. But they were saying also that the hold seemed a little slower than what he's used to with Stonehouse, so that might have messed up his timing as well. But yeah, it was a big thing because that would have sealed the game for them right there with an extra point.
Yeah,
and obviously you expect to get the extra point.
You should typically. Well, what's his face?
Dallas's kicker in the playoffs. Ooh. How many extra points you missed in that Bucks and Cowboys playoff game? Like 3 or 4?
Oh my God, something like that.
They got to the point where they just stopped going for it. They started going for 2 just to avoid the embarrassment.
It didn't work out either. Well, Stonehouse, aka what's his face, was announced out for the season today.
Hold on, you didn't tell what happened afterwards. You skipped.
I'm not getting it. Yeah. All right. Sorry, I'm not reading your notes verbatim. Gosh.
I'm not saying verbatim, but you're skipping what happened to win the game. That's kind of an important part of this as well.
It is. Drew, you're like this. I need him to be like this.
This is what you're doing. This is what I need you to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a master of disguise. I don't know why I like that movie so much. I do. That movie was freaking spectacular. It doesn't.
Am I not turtly enough for your turtle clip?
Turtle. It's ridiculous, and you watch it now, and you're like, "Oh my God, this is stupid." But it's stupid funny. I mean, literally, he was a pile of cow shit in one of those.
Oh my God, that's right. haven't seen that in 20 years.
Oh yes.
But
yes,
all right, let me finish up this notes real fast. All right. So Stonehouse was announced.
Hold on. You still missed before the game.
I know.
The game.
Let me finish before you interrupt.
No, go to the game. Go to the game. We're doing a recap here. Damn it.
We're doing a recap. You're right. We got this. Don't worry. All right. Stonehouse announced out for this season. The special teams coordinator, Greg Ackerman, was fired. Former Giants special teams coordinator Tom Quinn took over for acronym. Acronym.
It's not an acronym. His name is not an acronym.
Anyway, you go back to Drew's point.
Why you do this on purpose to get me. I'm not stupid. I know what you're doing. Anyway,
going back to what Drew wanted me to talk about, was the extra
plan was
point.
all along, of course. Buying this BS.
The extra point would have the need for overtime. The Titans did score a field goal in overtime, only to allow the Colts to score the game-winning touchdown.
Oh, yes. Thank you for letting everybody know the recap of the game itself. Appreciate that.
Listen, I think the real story was about the special teams coordinators.
Anyway, next up, we got the Dolphins at the Commanders there. Dolphins win 45-15. Not much to talk about that game, just a truly dominating performance. Done.
I mean, the only thing you talk about is bragging about how great Tyreek Hill looked in that game with two touchdowns scored with 60+ yards.
Yeah.
He's the seventh of the year. He's tied with, I want to say he's tied with Mr. Rice himself about how many 2 touchdowns games he's had in a career. Or not in a career, but in a single season. He is on pace to get over 2,000 yards. That is impressive.
He's on pace for just shy of 2,100 yards even.
Yeah, I think the number was 2,098.
Yeah, I just did the math actually. If I known you do that in your head, I would have done the math real quick. I did the math right now on my phone.
Oh, that's a stat I heard earlier today.
So yeah.
Anyway,
mixed up.
Fantastic game. Anyway, not a fantastic game. It was
a close
actually
game.
It was a good game. I'm going to take that back. You get the Broncos going into Houston playing the Texans. Texans were a -3.5 in this game. Over-under was 47. The Texans scored 22 to the Broncos 17. They ended the best winning streak in the NFL currently. They take the Broncos off their high horse. Ooh,
I see what you did there. Oh.
But both these teams are in the potentials for a playoff spot, and this was important. And this was a 40-point swing for the Texans. They are now a 70% shot to make the playoffs. Compared to if they lost, it would have been a 30%.
Yeah.
Broncos are still up there making it.
I mean, Broncos are 6-6 right now, so they're definitely not out of it. But there's definitely a good amount of teams in front of them now. That's the problem. So, yeah, not good for them. Nay, I say on that loss. Nay.
Yes, nay, but they've also beaten some good teams.
You just caught on to that. You just caught on to that. Yes.
I tried to disregard it, but I couldn't.
I will not be disregarded. Are you not entertained?
Hey.
Oh, my gosh. Anyway, next up, we got the battle of the shit. I mean,
yeah, you weren't wrong.
The Panthers at the Buccaneers. Buccaneers squeak out a win, 21-18. And with that loss, the Panthers are officially out of the playoffs, and the Buck fans are literally. For those who are not, usual watchers of the show, first off, welcome. Second off, I live in the Tampa Bay area, so I got a pretty good pulse of what's going on with the Bucks. The Buck fans are really celebrating the fact that they barely beat the worst team in the entire NFL. Like, I don't get it. They're so happy they won this game. Mike Evans, though, in the game, the big news there, did crack 1,000 yards in a season during the game, becoming the 10th time in his 10-year career that he's done that. Doesn't take a genius to say that, yeah, he's never not done that. It's the second longest streak ever in the NFL to Jerry Rice, and he was at 14 was his. Listen, anytime you do something that only Jerry Rice has done as a receiver, you're doing something right, guys. That's where you're at.
Yeah.
I will say it's interesting though, this stat, because if you look at his statistics overall, in his 10 years, he's got 11,000 yards. He's never really had crazy numbers, except for 2016 he had 1,300 and he had 1,215. Other than that, like, he had his rookie year 1,051. In 2017 he literally had 1,001. Like, he dropped one more pass, because he does drop the occasional. If he dropped one more pass, he'd have been, that streak would not be there. 1,006 yards in 2020, 1,035 in 2021. I mean, he's squeaked some of these years out there, but still, goddamn impressive. Yeah. Canton will be calling his name one day. And the Bucks music, because let's be honest, don't have a lot of Bucks in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, the only thing you can say that's even more impressive, besides just doing a decade straight of 1,000 yards, is he's the first player in NFL history to do that since his rookie year. Mr. Rice himself had 1,000 yards his first year, but did not have that record until after.
Well, actually, his rookie year, he had 927 yards. Jerry Rice did. Oh.
He was closer.
His second year is 1,570 yards. I had to look it up real quick. So he went from 86. He did 86 to 96 was his 10-year stretch he had. But then he had 98, 2001, 2002 as his other years at that point there. Hold on. So that's 11-year stretch for him. So he had 11 years in a row. So
yep.
But 14 overall in his career. So there we go. That's what the numbers are. So that's what Mike Evans, one more year, and he ties the record for consecutive. And if he does 4 more years, he ties the record for most 1,000-yard seasons overall. So, like I said, he's
in good company.
Quietly one of those guys that just, he's like, it's like, if you look back at that draft 2014, we had a lot of big names coming out in that. You had OBJ, you had Mike Evans, you had Sammy Watkins, who, didn't really turn out to be much in the NFL overall. But it's like, OBJ started off as the best. I think it's safe to say that Mike Evans supplanted him, but Mike Evans is like, it's almost like the Hank Aaron beating Babe Ruth. Like, OBJ was just untouchable when he was with the Giants. And then ever since then, just kind of trailed off. But he's like, Mike Evans, like Hank Aaron, though. He's consistent. He's not ever like the top receiver in the league. He's consistently one of the best receivers in the league every year, though.
And he's probably been with a lot more worse teams than better teams.
Oh, yes. He plays for the Bucks, enough said. Besides the 3 years with Brady, I mean, not much there. Jameis Winston,
100%.
Baker Mayfield. Yeah.
Hey.
I mean, we can go back. There's a whole lot more crappy quarterbacks, too. So, all right.
Okay. The game.
Next up, the game of the week.
The game I love talking about. The game that I love talking about, especially because I had to do work in Philadelphia.
Is it West Philadelphia, perhaps?
No, I was in Central Philadelphia. I was staying away from where Will Smith got beat up.
Okay. Good, because he got one little fight and his mom got scared.
Yeah, I didn't want to do that to to my parents. Oh my god. Anyway, sorry, Christian Kirk touchdown, 22 yards. But the game that I would love to talk about, that I've been talking about all day, the Niners go into Philadelphia and put a shellacking. They embarrassed this Eagles team, which everyone going into this week said was the best team in football.
They released the Kraken
team in the NFL. 100%. They released Brock Purdy is what they did. CMC.
Yeah. It's basically he has a functioning shoulder, what he can do.
Yeah. The Niners win 42-19. The Niners score on 6 straight drives.
Booyah.
Like I think their whole offense was 47-52 at the end of the day. Like it was absurdly good. And not only as a Giants fan watching back in this game, who supported the Niners, who has Brock Purdy and a Juke and his fantasy team, and who also has another one. No, he said Juke to me.
It's not a Madden move. His name is not a Madden move.
The whole time since the NFC conference round last year, the Niners fan has been talking trash to Philly, saying, "Well, we had no quarterback. We had this." And Eagles fans, as terrible fans as they were like, "No, we beat you. Like, it doesn't matter. We beat you. We beat you." This was a statement game. It got so out of control of this shellacking of a beating. You had to watch an old man try to fight an NFL player in the worst fight since.
Let's talk about this fight.
Probably like the first, second grade. No one knew what they were doing. Like, obviously,
it was ridiculous. Way overblown.
Oh, it was terrible.
Way overblown.
Yeah, Eagles had a security down. Cindy Agro.
Dom DeSandro. Dum 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 didooty dum 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 didooty da.
But yeah,
he's a punk ass.
Oh, 100%. For like,
first off, you see that way. Listen, I don't want to fat shame anybody, but I'm going to fat shame somebody. I'm going to do it. I don't want to, but I'm going to. I would not trust that man to guard a buffet table, let alone a football team. He does not look like a big, bulky guy like you expect for that kind of thing.
No, he looks like Andy Reid's bigger, fatter, older brother.
Yeah, like, I wouldn't say bigger, fatter, older, because Andy Reid's pretty old. But bigger and fatter. That's not about bigger, but again, I'm not trying to be mean about it. Like, I got some extra pounds on me, but that's why I'm not head of security for the Giants. That's why. That's the only reason. Nothing else has held me back.
If you got a couple extra pounds, that's one thing. But if you got a baby elephant extra pounds on you, not to fat shame. There's a big difference.
I don't want to be a jerk about it, but it's a legit question. Like, what is he really guarding at that point? He's going to be the head of security against people that are in much better shape than him?
Yeah. All right. So from the Niners are to come over who is athletically in shape is going to run up to someone on their team, punch him, and run away. You think that Dom's going to catch up with them?
Too. But that's the whole thing. Why the hell is the head of security even on the sidelines? It's not his job to protect them during the game. His job is to protect them when they're on the road, when they're going out to places and stuff like that. That's not his job on the sidelines. That's the ref's job.
It made no sense. I was dumbfounded by the whole scenario. I still think about it, but it made for some good TV.
I guess so, but honestly, it wasn't even that much of anything. Like, linebacker Dre Greenlaw basically went up and he kind of put his hand to like keep him away, and then Greenlaw went to go like that towards him. Like, I don't think it was necessarily going to punch him, but he's going to like put his hand in his face, and then it like barely barely tapped his nose, and when he did that, he put his finger out at that point to like try to show people it's just trying to point. He wasn't trying to punch him, but it's like, oh no, he barely grazed his nose. Oh no, he put his hand on his chest. Like,
although it also came out after the game, there's one of the rules, and it comes down to specific details. Non-officiants off to the side cannot be ejected from a game without a ref immediately ejecting from the game. But if a player puts a hand on something like that on the sideline, they call the flag and it's automatically ejection. So, like,
yeah,
the refs had to come out on this and just be like, the both of you, get the hell out of this game. Like, you can't be doing that to each other.
but it was overblown, man. They barely touched each other. It really did. Like, seriously.
Listen,
that's like,
because what game was that? Actually, the game we're about to talk about. So I'm going to keep that to the side because no one got ejected in that game.
I didn't even see the fight you're talking about there. I didn't watch as much of that game.
It was in a fight. I'm trying to think of the player.
I was trying to get some Christmas decorations up yesterday, so I did spend a little time doing that during the 4:00 games.
Oh, I mean, I'm talking about the 8:00 game. Yeah.
Oh, the 8:00 game. Oh, yes. That one I didn't watch at all. I was doing all the Christmas decorating. You know how difficult it is? And look, this is hashtag Florida problems, okay? Do you know how difficult it is to wrap strings of lights around palm trees? Very difficult. Because they have like ridges. They have like ridges that hold on to them. So I have, have like nothing massive. It's not like, like a Corona palm tree or anything crazy, but I have, 5 or 6 palm trees in my yard. So each of them I wrap with lights. That'd be appropriate for Christmas. But yeah, they keep sticking to it and have trouble wrapping around. It's very difficult. Nothing like doing the oak trees we have in the front as well. They're nice and easy. Anyway, on to the games here. On to the games. We got the Browns and the Rams next. Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
The Browns and the Rams. Rams crushed the Browns 36-19. And it felt very nostalgic to see Joe Flacco back in the NFL, back in action there. But he was clearly outclassed by by Matt Stafford. And it was interesting to see the Rams offense overall outclassing the Browns defense, which has just been absolutely freaking stellar this year. So curious to see what happens here with the Browns offense having issues finding a, quarterback that's in one piece. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens if that defense starts getting worse because the offense, much like ours, can't get anything going.
Nope. Yeah. I mean, you talk about the quarterback play over there. I think, and we'll talk about it more Wednesday, but I think Rams might be a sneaky good team to get into the playoffs, and the Browns might lose their shot to get into the playoffs. And the Browns might lose their shot to get in the playoffs there, but
the Browns, I don't know. I have faith in the Browns to pull it out and then lose in the first round.
I mean, if you had to choose between the Browns and Houston Texans, who are you taking?
I want the Texans to get in just because I like CJ Stroud a lot, and we were very pro CJ Stroud. But in the end, the Browns are the team that deserve it more because they're in like year 2 or 3 of a rebuild, not year 1.
Yeah, but that's not what the record says compared to.
I know that. I just listen. Here's the problem. Here's my theory in this whole thing. You're talking Browns and Texans. Okay, they're both tainted by Deshaun Watson in my eyes, and that's the problem. You have the team that covered up for somebody who was accused of sexually assaulting 23 women or whatever the hell number that went up to at this point. And you have the team that gave him a shitload of money and ignored that. I can't root for either one of those two teams overall. I'm sorry, I can't.
So you're going to root for the Colts, who are tied with them as well?
Yeah, why not? Let's root for the Colts.
Because
at least
I think
their owner's
the
just
Colts
a drug addict, whatever.
Because I think the Colts' schedule is easier than the Browns coming up.
Yeah, like I said, that's my problem. I run into with both those teams is they're tainted by Deshaun Watson in my eyes.
Yeah.
But again, if I had to pick which one of the two, I'm going to root for CJ Stroud because I like him personally as a player. even though I wish he had gone to a different team. But the Panthers are morons. They just listened to the Giant Goofballs. They would have had a very good quarterback right now. We were screaming for them to pick him and saying how stupid they were when the rumor was they weren't going to.
I mean, they got Mingo. Mingo.
Mingo. Have no one to throw him to him, but and he's not doing that good because he's just not that good, like we said. Sorry, John. I know you like him.
Sorry, John.
Let's look at where is Mingo at for the year? Let's take a look at that real quick. I'm kind of curious now because, like I said, I remember John was like, I couldn't believe that we were so anti-Mingo, and I'm like, he just doesn't seem to try. Like he doesn't have that. 34 receptions, 355 yards in the season. So a legit NFL receiver, as I didn't think he wouldn't be a legit NFL receiver, but he's not a star player. He's not people thought the second round he's going to be a steal. It's just not.
Listen, if he was
he's gotten better as the years progress. He's actually gotten worse.
Listen, if he went to the Houston Texans, he would have the potential to have over double his yards. Because I feel like when he's in losing positions,
I know you were about to say like Tank Dell.
Yep, that's why I brought him up.
Who's, by the way, Tank Dell out for the year.
Yep, I was going to bring that up as well. I was going to say like CJ Stroud is thrown bombs. He's been fantastic. They've been in really good positions to win football games. And who hasn't?
Let me just tell
Carolina Panthers.
You are lucky we are not on a plane right now. You cannot say bomb on a plane.
Well, it's a good thing I'm sitting in my kitchen.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what if you were bomb of the year?
See, that's why the 90s went out of style, because you can't say the bomb anymore.
I know.
I'm just saying, like, if Mingo was on a better team, not in a better playoff position, not to say that he's going to play better because the players around him. I think he's going to try more. I just think once the game's out of control, and I think like he thinks he's out of the play itself, he just kind of gives up.
Adam Thielen has 753 yards.
Oh, he's been the number one. He also did not look good yesterday at all.
Well, he didn't play yesterday. He played.
Yeah, you know what I meant. Thursday.
No, I'm just kidding. No, he did play yesterday. Okay, well, I think I'm moving it backwards. Yeah, three. He's had 4 catches, 27 yards in the last 2 games, by the way, Thielen.
Yeah, I know. I put him in over Christian. I put him over Christian Kirk, Christian Kirk's got a touchdown for 22 yards.
Well, don't you make that mistake next week.
Oh, man. I messed up.
All righty. Next up, Chiefs at the Packers.
But I lied. I said something terrible happened in this game. It was the Saints game. Kamara fell into someone on the sideline.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
It was gruesome. It was terrible. But who also destroyed was Mr. Love. Because the Chiefs go into Green Bay. They go to Lambeau Field. Jude Love won this game 27-19. Mr. What was that? Mr. Sock. Mr. Sock looked more like Patrick Mahomes than Patrick Mahomes.
Does this dude love Cactus Jack or Mankind? Depends in the week.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would be saying that a lot with Mr. Love, but the past 5 weeks, you know what they are? 4-1. They start off this season 2-0, and then they had a horrible half of September and October, but they have turned this game around, and they went from every now and then. They literally 3 weeks ago, were at the point where they had like a top, just outside of the top 5 pick in this draft. And guess what? Yep. They're number 7th seed in the NFC right now.
People are starting to wonder if they just made a mistake with Love too. That's how bad it got.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me. Like his first year starting, guys. Give the guy a freaking break. Like, throw me a freaking bone here. Like,
come on, man.
Like, what do you expect him to be? Being all pro his first year starting? Like, I understand that the Packers have a really good history of quarterbacks over the last, few decades now. But to expect that right off the bat is absolutely goddamn ridiculous. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, 100%.
All righty.
Yeah, so the Packers have been lighting it up. They've been passing out that love.
Oh, yes. Spreading the love around.
Oh, he has been. Even Christian Watson, who has not played well most of this year.
I would hate to have to face the Packers next week. Oh, no.
Yeah. That is the time.
Womp.
Meanwhile, the Chiefs have a little bit of a super hangover, I guess, this year. They're 8-4. They don't look terrible, but their defense looks way better than that offense has. And that offense has been what has gotten the Chiefs where they've been.
Yeah, and it's so hard to sit there and say an 8-4 team doesn't look good, and that's not what we're saying, but they just don't quite look as good as they have the last few years.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes, everyone knows, is a generation of top. He doesn't 100%. Look like a top. He doesn't look like a top 5 quarterback this year.
I would give up my first round picks for the next 10 years to get him.
Yeah, as long as I know he's going to be healthy for 10 years. That's
obviously that's part of the equation there. But I'm saying, he is the best player at the most important position,
and he has got great football IQ. He's got one of the highest accuracy ratings in the league. And the way he's able to move around and just have that arm talent to get the ball out, no matter what way, sidearm, underarm, overhand, behind the back. He just makes it work.
Oh, yeah.
That being said, are they out of playoff potential? No. That's not what we're saying. But I'm just saying, that division over there.
They'll be in the playoffs. They'll make a run of the playoffs. They might even still get to the Super Bowl even. It's just... It's less likely this year than it was the last couple of years.
They will not be hosting the AFC Championship. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, the Dolphins right now would be.
Or the Jaguars. Jaguars.
The Dolphins are number 1.
I know. Well, I'm just saying.
Dolphins are number 1 seed. Ravens are number 2.
I think the Jaguars have an easy schedule, have the opportunity to host.
Oh, well, we'll see about that. Well, yeah, they're playing the South, so of course. So, all righty, let's get to the last couple comments here. Let's get out of here. It's been an hour and a half again. We're doing these longer episodes all of a sudden. Sheesh, guys are getting tired of us probably. Seriously. Whew. So Connor says, actually, certain actors have set up voice stuff already for the future. Morgan, I believe, is one of them. I know that. What's his name? The Bell Atlantic guy, you know what I'm talking about, James Earl Jones. He signed a deal with Disney that are allowed to use his voice for Darth Vader things for as long as they want. So we'll have plenty of Darth Vader for years to come, even though James Earl Jones is, I think he's in his 90s now. I think he's that old. Connor says Roberto went El Bathrumo. It's Lavatorio.
When you gotta go, you gotta go.
Or Baño.
El Baños.
We're part football talk, part Spanish lessons. Uno más para Connor Wallace. If you shaked it more than twice, Roberto, you should get oil. Wait, what?
Just that I'm playing with myself.
Oh my. Don't get the oil. CP's NY Sports Network. What's up, man? Says, what's up, fellas? What's up,
buddy?
Connor says the Browning guy in Cincy has more yards than Trevor. He's 12 of 13 for, well, he said Ferb, but 125 yards. ETN and Nixon have scored. It's 7-7.
It is currently 14-14.
Says, I loved Flash Gordon in the Ted movie. So funny. Yeah, Listen, I like the Ted movie in general. I like Seth MacFarlane stuff. He takes a little too far sometimes, but he's funny. I did hear a thing though that the Orville they think is going to be canceled.
That's been talked for a while. I wish they would bring it back.
Loved the Orville. I loved the Orville.
The first season, they didn't know what they want to do, if they want to be serious or funny. Second season, they found the balance, and I think it was just like at that time, Fox was pushing it away.
Yeah, exactly.
Fox was
doing too much pushing. So
it wasn't even like pushing. I think that was like a year before Disney bought them out, and then they didn't renew it. COVID was happening.
Yeah.
And then Hulu picked them up.
Well, I saw what's her name who played the second in command, Adriana Pilecki. Is that her name? I think I want to say. So she said basically that she's done, and she said part of the issue is they shot 60 episodes in 6 years. It's just hard because as an actor you have to stay available for it because you signed a contract, but they're taking so long to shoot episodes that they're not making money in the meantime because even under contract they don't make the money till the episode shot. So it's kind of an issue for those guys. So who knows? Maybe in a year or two, Seth MacFarlane will write a whole season, and they'll come back with the season knowing the season's already ready to be shot. Who knows? We'll see.
Listen,
I like
Hulu, if you're listening, just give them 3 seasons right now. Let them film.
Listen, but no, it's the problem. They said Seth MacFarlane was taking too long to write the episodes. That was the problem. He wanted to write the whole thing himself. And that 3rd season he wrote was absolutely freaking amazing. Absolutely amazing. If anybody hasn't got a chance to watch that show yet, first couple seasons, like Rob said, a little clunky here and there. The 3rd season is probably the best space opera since the original Star Trek. Sorry, that's how good it was.
Next Generation.
It's better than Next Generation. I'll take it over that.
Well, I'm saying I think Next Generation. I think Next Generation is better than the original Star Wars, but yeah, it's up there because that's
blasphemous. Now, I demand you to wash your mouth out with soap and do 10 Hail Marys.
That is a fair statement.
Oh my!
No,
it's not. All right. Anyway, now that Rob has given a ridiculous opinion, let's go ahead and get out of here again. We'll see you guys Wednesday night. Wednesday. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be on there doing. Oh yes, we'll be doing our picks episode, which yes, Rob did win this week, so I will be eating a can of sardines live on the show while we're talking about our picks for the following week.
Does that include the whole can of sardines, or is it
just not the can? I'm not going to eat the can itself. No, it's not like the foil. It's aluminum foil. So yeah. We'll go ahead and, like I said, do our picks episode again for you guys Wednesday. And, of course, Thursday night, we'll be back on it again for you guys, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, giving our preview of the Packers and Giants game there. Now, keep in mind, that is a Monday night game. So Monday night means that we're going to have to adjust the schedule next week there a little bit. So we'll let you guys know as we adjust what we're going to adjust to and figure out from there, because obviously – it's a little difficult to do a recap episode on that day, which is what we did the last time there, but the timing issues do happen with that sometimes. So we'll like I said, play that one by ear, but we'll give you guys a heads up once we figure out exactly what we're doing there. All right, guys. So we'll see you guys again Wednesday night. As always, we shoot live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter/X, Twitch, and of course Rob's favorite, my LinkedIn profile, which almost did wrong direction. There you go. Oh, there we go. And almost didn't even go on to LinkedIn. It wouldn't go on to LinkedIn today. I had to force it through 3 times before I finally did. It's always 3 no's, then a yes. And then of course, we're available on every single audio podcast platform the following morning for you guys as well. That goes live 5 o'clock in the morning the next day. So on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon, all the big ones there, Google, while that still is a thing. And of course, as always, Giant fans,
go Demon!
Go Demon!
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support. If you made it this long, you must have enjoyed it. So I am sure you have followed us on all the social media platforms. Of course, you have subscribed to the show on your favorite app as well and given us a top rating. Right?
Thank you to those who have signed up for our silver gold levels of membership at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs.